that Bean and Brady both met with Coleman's agent at the Combine, told him something similar, shared how they believed in him and what his plan was to have a big 2026. I'm told Coleman's agent also met with Bills owner Terry Pegula, who told him how much he loved Keon as well. And so it's going to take trust. Last year was rough. A couple healthy scratches because Keon had issues with oversleeping and being late. Keon also didn't love how he was used and maybe the opportunities he got in this team. They have to work together to make this thing work. So never say never on a trade, but I'm told it would likely take a day 2 pick for a team to land Coleman via trade. And so with the inconsistent first 2 seasons, there's more value right now to the Bills than probably elsewhere.
Cameron Wolfe there with Tom Pelissero. Good morning, Jeremy and Joe. All right,
So they would do it, but it would take a day 2 pick.
Well, hey, it's the price that you float you would take.
Yeah.
However, Cameron Wolfe gets there is always the higher side of it, so you can come down. A day 2 pick is a third rounder.
All right, your starting point is a third-round pick.
Third-round pick.
That's your first ask. Okay, someone's going to offer you a fifth or a sixth, and you're going to meet in the middle at a fourth?
Maybe, or it's a pick slide. There's a couple things in there. Good morning, Jeremy and Joe. You can give us a call on this as well. We've talked Sabres the whole show pretty much to this point. But, all right, Coleman's agent met with Terry Pegula, who also told him how much they love Keon. Keon didn't love how he was used. If the owner is a big Coleman fan, what, as a person, as a prospect, as whatever, then am I immediately going to think that the GM and the coach keep saying he's going to be here and they're going to figure it out because the owner loves him? Because that's not a situation that I want, of course.
No.
I do have Coleman didn't love how he was used. Isn't that the kiss of death? Don't have to trade a receiver that has a problem with how he's used? Got to get him out. Not allowed. That's not allowed. Joe, you cannot, as a receiver, have an opinion on your usage.
No, that's only if you're a good receiver.
He's got to go. He's got to go. He didn't love how he was used or his opportunities. Told it would take a day 2 pick. That's the headline to me.
Does he think he's going to get himself into what's the role? What's the role he thinks he's going to get himself into? Or is being used that he got sat down because he couldn't show up to meetings on time? Is that what he means by I didn't like how I was being used? How I was a spare part at the end of the season? Maybe that's what it is? I don't know. To me, all of it should just end. And I hope that the owner loving him wouldn't be something that would keep him on the field and then have him be playing like a lot. Are they gonna how much do you want to try to force it with him if it's not there? And how long are you willing to do that? What's your plan B in case that doesn't start working? I liked, I guess the thing I want to take out of that clip more than anything is that there already is a price they'd be willing to take. If someone offered it sounds to me like if someone offered a third-round pick today, he'd be off the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't think that means we should be that far away from, okay, he's going to get traded. I want that to be the most likely outcome at this point.
That he's traded?
Yeah.
If he is traded, or if he's off this roster one way or another, by the way, like during the season, there were people saying he should be cut to make a point.
Right.
And they didn't do that. And
cutting him, by the way, this year, like money-wise,
bad
would actually be bad because you would really need it to be a trade. And maybe that's where you would think you might lose some leverage with another team because those teams know you can't cut him. So this is all part of the sales pitch. The owner loving him, the coach saying that the best thing that could have happened to him was me being the coach, the GM talking him up. All of this could just be a ploy in gaining leverage with other teams because the other team could look at the Bills and say, oh, if you don't want him there, you have to trade him. We're doing you a favor by trading him because cutting him will cost you an additional $2.7 million. He's 2.7 on your cap if he's on the team. He's $5.5 million if he's off your team. You can't cut him. So we're doing you a favor. We're not giving you a pick. We'll take him, and you get to save your money. I think all this could just be a sales pitch and the Bills convincing the rest of the league, oh, we don't need to move on from him. And that's how you get to getting something in a trade. I think this is all a sales pitch to the league.
It might be. I don't know how effective it'll be. Hey, this player who we have suspended and has been a problem, we love him. You're going to have to pay for this. Like, what? Why would I pay a lot for that? I got 2 years left of a rookie contract. I do think he's of more value on the team than he is cut and taking a bigger financial penalty.
I think I agree with that. I don't want to pay 2.7 on top of you're doubling his cap hit by cutting him.
Yeah. Well, listen, like if there's
I don't think that is I don't want him on the field a lot, but I don't feel like that makes a lot of business sense.
If there's one thing about the Bills right now, I think you get concerned about. There are a lot of things to like, right? They still have a lot of good players. They still have Josh Allen. They should still compete and win double-digit games. But if there's one thing to be concerned about, it might be that the owner has lined up behind the GM, and he chose the GM over the coach. That's fine. Any owner can do that. When we were told the stories of how they interviewed and how Joe Brady's interview went, it was, sounds like you just became our next head coach. It's the owner saying it in front of the GM. And then what's the GM say? Like, yeah, that's right. I think so too. He's our coach. And now we've got alignment. And is alignment falling in line? I'm the owner. I love Keon. I like this kid. I think we should do what it takes to get him going the right way. So do I. Okay. I guess we'll do that. And maybe they could be right. I keep pointing out that this owner might have success stories of that and think that, don't give up on somebody. There are plenty of stories like this. Matthias Samuelson and Tage Thompson. And if you want to include Josh Allen in here, who people said, like, I don't know about this guy. He looks like pretty raw. He's too big of a project. And what do? You grow him into something great. Could you stick with Coleman and grow it into something great? I guess you could. To me, you've already lost 2 years of the true value. And I would look at it as from a standpoint of what's going to happen. He's going to be so good in the next 2 years, you're going to sign him to big, big money. What are the odds that happens?
Just doesn't seem like anything is happening that would make you believe that it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea. But again, Coleman's agent met with Terry Pegula, who told him how much they love Keon. Keon didn't love how he was used, okay? And I'm told it will likely take a day 2 pick. So the headline, there's a lot of headlines in there, I guess. But as soon as I'm told it would take a day 2 pick, like, oh, okay. Love this guy. Oh, I mean, we would trade him, though, for the right price. And as a day 2 pick, ready for this, Joe? How about this? We'll give you Keon and a 7th for a 3rd. Keon and a 4th for a 3rd. Now I got a day 2 pick out of it. I can kind of claim I got a day 2 pick. These deals, often the extra picks get forgotten. What was the Diggs trade? It was Diggs for a 1st and 4th. No one remembers the 4th. Rasul Douglas. What was the Rasul Douglas trade? It was Douglas and a 5th for a 3rd. We talk about it like it was Douglas for a 3rd, right? So if they could get a 3rd and a 3rd for Coleman and a 5th, that team might think like, all right, I moved down 2 rounds in a relatively meh draft and got a young receiver that might help me, and Bean can, walk out and say like, oh, well, we had a value of a day 2 pick.
Yeah, that is exactly what happened when Jahan Dotson got traded from Washington to Philadelphia a couple years ago. He was a first-round pick, like middle of first round, like 16th overall. He had 1,000 yards in 2 years with Washington. Almost the same as Coleman. And then he got traded. You know what he got traded for? Him and a 5th for a 3rd and a 7th. Like, that's your way of...
That's how you do it.
Hey, I got a day 2 pick for Coleman. We gave them a 5th on top of it. We also got a 7th back.
Yeah.
Like, I think that totally could be the type of package that we see. Again, like, that's a comparable that might not even be too different production-wise that went for that price not that long ago.